Please make him welcome back. Alex has been travelling around Australia fairly frenetically, I think, and it's nice to have him back in Melbourne. He was here a few years ago and I had the pleasure of eating his food when he was here, and it truly was spectacular and completely original and unlike anything I'd eaten before. And I think that that's really what he brings to world cuisine now, and it's why his restaurant is number 6 on the world's top 50 list. He's also just been on the cover of Time magazine. Was that fun?
That was fun. I mean, no complaints about being on Time magazine. I do believe that that's a sign that I'm not mistaken. I mean, I can keep doing cooking.
You don't have to give up your day job, no. I think that was shot in New York, I gather. I bumped into someone who walked into the restaurant yesterday and tried to get in while you were shooting it. You were there with David Chang and Renee Redzepi. And it's been an interesting cover. It's been a little bit controversial. Has that been fun?
If it's controversial, it's because it takes attention. Controversial, it is not bad. Nobody's own the really true. So when you got controversial, you got reflection, and through the reflection, you can find a solution. So this is maybe the goal of that cover.
So you're here not only to keep us company and entertain us this evening, and Alex has actually promised that if we ask him really nicely, he might entertain us in another way, which means he might revert to a former occupation and have a go at this a little bit later. That might be what turns the machine on, so we'll hope for that. I'd like to actually, just to get some official stuff over with, say that it's been so exciting to have Good Food Month come to Melbourne, and we have to thank our presenting partner Citi for that, and the world's friendliest banker Linda Duncombe is here tonight from Citi, so a shout out to you, Linda, thank you so much. We also have to thank Stokehouse for welcoming us tonight and fixing the weather, because I know that you are in charge of that. Cooper's, Tanqueray, Recorder Link Cider and your Lumber Wines. Now, I've got to say that Alex will be signing his book, and I spoke to my colleague Arden in Sydney, who said that he got around every person in the room in Sydney last night and personalised every book. So that's a bit of a challenge because there's a fair few of them here tonight, but that's a good number of book sales. So why don't you tell us a little bit about this book and what's inspired you to write it? And can any of us cook out of it, or is it way too hard?
Well, first of all, I would like to apologize myself about my poor English. That is, but I'm Brazilian, and I'm still enjoying being Brazilian. So. The book. Wow. I come from a country where nobody in the world, nobody knows what is Brazilian cuisine. People imagine that Brazilian cuisine is just barbecue or churrasco and feijoada, and it isn't. People have the same doubt about Australia. What is Australian cuisine? We're trying to promote this, trying to convince people that Brazil is much more than this. To achieve that point, we might choose support, to improve, to do our best, but for our own, the next generation. The young chefs will be like a lifetime trying to show to the world that Brazilian cuisine is more than few recipes. It is not enough. We need more people sending the same message. Nowadays, the first time that I have been in Australia, it was about 6 years ago, and people was attempt or open to thinking about using local ingredients. But nowadays people are using, not listening. There's a big change. Why this happened? Because few chefs spread in the world with their own personality, with their own cuisine, start to do or sending the same message through the food. More chefs, strong becomes the message. It is simple like this. And I do believe that, but more than believe, I really I have been few times here, and you guys have amazing ingredients, and you might to show this to the world. Using those ingredients it is not a way to surprise people. It's a way to bring people to Australia. Small producers will be supported. Everybody knows about natural conservation. Everybody are familiar with this. It's clear that we might choose to support or to protect the sea, the rivers, the lands, the forests. But we can't forget for a natural being, call it human being. People from the sea, people from the lands, people from the forests and the rivers might be supported, and cuisine can be a very powerful tool for it. A few days ago, I was in Brazil, and I met Ferran Adrià, and he told something that really blows my mind. He told that the most powerful social media in the world, it is not the Facebook, it is cuisine. The power of the change, it is much stronger. Guys, just eat, enjoy, and having fun. It is the easiest way to make a better world.
Can I ask you one more question? You do say in your book that cuisine is about nature meeting culture, which I think is what you've just said as eloquently. When did you discover that you wanted to cook with a Brazilian voice rather than a French voice or an Italian voice?
In the early days, in early 80s, I was a punk rocker in Brazil. Can you imagine this?
Yeah, easy.
It is a kind of nonsense. Completely nonsense. In a tropical country, in that time Brazil we didn't have internet, of course, was closed for importation. So I was living in another world. I grew up and with the dream to go to Europe, and one day I sold all my small things, and I bought an air ticket, and I made my classical backpack trip. In the middle of this trip, I realized that I don't want to go back to Brazil. I want to stay. The simple fact to go buy bread, it was a new experience for me. The way to speak. In Brazil, you are very informal. I said, just give me this. And in there, just, please, may I have this? And that was something new for me. I was learning lots of things. And I became fascinated by European culture. So I decided to stay. To stay in there, I got two problems. First one was make money, and I started to painting walls to make money. And I'm pretty sure that I'm not the only single Brazilian in construction business around the world. I mean, this is something that Brazilian people have been doing quite a lot. And the second problem was get a visa. To get a visa, one of those guys who was painting walls with us, was doing chef schools, and I went to chef schools. And as fast as you guys can imagine, I realized that be a chef is much more fun than painting walls in a winter day. Sorry. I lost it.
I know you've been traveling.
No. Maybe I finish. I lost again.
Why don't we let you relax, come and meet some of these people, and we'll start eating. Thank you very much,
Thank you
Alex.
very much.